Really excited to be here, and in fact, being part of the Omidyar family, this was wonderful. I'm here today to share some of the exciting stuff we are doing in education, and I really hope you guys like it. But before I actually go to that stuff which we are doing and share some of the challenges we faced while trying to address this, quick background. So my journey in education began way back in 2006. In fact, I have been a teacher for over 13 years, and the first venture we started was way back in 2006 when me, along with my friends, went to this small rural place in Punjab called Barnala and started teaching kids of the factory workers out there. And that's how the whole journey in teaching began. What was really wonderful was when we started teaching these kids, we had around 35 odd kids we taught them. And in the first year itself, we had 11 out of them who got on and got selected in the top 5 IITs. And that was amazing because, as many of you would know, the selection ratio for these colleges are less than 1% all India. And here we had from a very small town, almost 11 getting selected from 35. And the reason behind that we found out was the teacher. Unfortunately, as a society, we do not have the best of our society coming back into the profession of teaching. Right? And when that happens, when the teacher is really motivated, passionate, is really wanting to do this, is a teacher by choice, these results and these magical moments happen. So we as a team sort of doing this and probably trying to scale this up. We wanted to glamorize this profession of teaching and make the best of the society come back into teaching. So we tried doing this in an offline setup, and we tried to scale it. And in 7 and 8 years, we realized that scaling an offline is not very easy. It has its own set of challenges, which actually led us to start Vedantu. So in Vedantu, we are essentially trying to do the same thing, trying to scale the success stories of Laksh. And in Vedantu, we are trying to make that possible through masses. So that's the quick background. So in Vedantu, it's essentially we specialize in delivering live interactive classes in which teachers would be sitting from anywhere in the country and delivering their classes to students either in a one-on-one format or in a group format. And these students will be spread across the entire country. So today, in fact, at Vedantu, we have more than 100,000 hours of live tutoring happening every month. And students are from over 1,000 plus cities and spread across 36 countries. And once this happens, it presents some unique set of challenges, right? And I'm going to share with you one of those challenges and how we went about solving that. So this is something like how you could imagine this technology works. So there is a video, audio stream. There is a whiteboarding in which both students and teachers can write. There is chat. There is quizzes, polls inside the session. So the idea is to replicate it and make it as closer to an offline experience as possible. But as a teacher, and I've been an offline teacher as well, so I can tell you, in an offline setup, the teacher feels very connected with the students, right? So if this were an offline class, and I see my students, I feel connected. But how do you solve for this in an online? Was one of the challenges. When students are not there, how can a teacher feel the pulse of the student? How can he relate to it? How would he understand whether the students are getting it or not? Are they engaged or not? So these were some of the challenges we faced. And being an edtech company, we obviously sought technology and how technology can help us solve this, right? So interestingly, we have so many streams which we were capturing through online. So we thought that can we replicate an offline behavior and can we extract that information and give those inputs to a teacher to make some meaningful decisions. Like for example, if this was an offline class and if you were my students and I was the teacher, I would essentially make a judgment of how interesting this class is going by looking at your body languages, by looking at your smiles, probably your nodding, not nodding, and those kind of things. But on online, a teacher won't do that. So what we did was, very interestingly, so we captured audio streams, chat streams, poll stream, video streams also. And this is obviously work in progress. We have come out with a very innovative engine, we call it EQ engine, which stands for Engagement Quotient. We applied for 3 patents on it. And so what it does is, very interestingly, so we measure a lot of streams, right? So one of the streams is, like, say, an audio stream. So we do tonal analysis and sentimental analysis and try to ascertain how engaged a student is inside the session. We also are able to measure with almost 85% accuracy how many questions were being asked in the session and what's the delta T between the teacher asking a question and probably the child responding. And there are a lot of things. We do content analysis, even writing, handwriting analysis. We see whether the teacher is writing and speaking at the same time, or is just speaking and not writing for a long time. There are around 80 odd parameters, and I will not bore you with all the parameters. But I wanted to showcase this and basically strike the point that technology today gives us these tools which makes this analysis possible. So today at Vedantu, every teacher, after a session, gets a score something like this, which tells him or her how engaged or not so engaged a session was. Not just that, we also go forward and tell them, with respect to a 90th percentile of the other classes, where does this teacher stand for, and which is the sub-parameter in which probably he or she must be working on. And even pushing this forward, we share with them a recording of some other teacher who has done great on that parameter so that the teacher can learn and improve. And this is amazing, right? Because we are able to use technology to understand the best practices which is happening in the ecosystem, capturing it, and probably getting it out there to the community itself for them to learn and improve. And in this process, whole community, becomes better. This, as I said, is a work in progress, and the future roadmap of this is also pretty interesting. There are a lot of machine learning and AI elements which we are putting on top of this. And in future, we are going to process this not after the session, which we do today, but probably inside the session, so that the teacher who is teaching gets live feed on probably when a class is not engaged, or probably if there is a student, say Arjun, and using video analysis, we are also able to do facial recognition and his, by using eye analysis, whether he is concentrating or not. And we'll be able to give this feed to the teacher so that he can intervene in that moment itself, right? We also have this data on where the child has got disengaged, so that after the session, we are able to give them exactly that content where he or she, was faltering. The future is amazing, and I think this and more such initiatives help us reimagine the entire way teaching has been delivered and to create a superior and a more personalized experience for the students. Thanks a lot.